Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the latest episode of Designated Survivor, The Mission. So, overall this was a pretty strong episode, and really kind of focused in on the mission that we're going on for taking out the head of Al-Sakar. So, it starts off with Tom and everybody in the command center pretty much getting ready to launch an airstrike on the compound, but at the last minute, they have found intelligence that he has moved from his current location and that they should call off the strike. So they do until they're able to find out like some more information. So they're kind of going off, doing their own kind of stuff. Aaron's talking to Emily about this Jeffrey Myers person that he's come across, and she brings that up to Tom's wife, Alex. And that was an old boyfriend that she had went out with and was currently in federal prison. And she brings this up to Aaron like, or what's going on? Did you find this in like opposition research and all that? And he's talking about how this person claims that he is the father of their son Leo, and Alex is kind of dodging it. So there's some interesting tension there. It could actually make Leo kind of useful in some respects, other than just being this weird kind of angsty douchebag. But guess what? The best parts have been that he hasn't been in any episodes. At the moment, it's like, okay, yeah, we've gotten this streak where they're actually focusing on, like, political ramifications and all that. It's like, okay, we don't have to deal with this kid at the moment. That's cool. But then you're like, in the background of your head, they're gonna have to go back to that kid at some point. No. But we'll see what happens when they come. But this development could entertain a new kind of wrinkle, kind of explain why he's got such feelings towards his father, because granted, there's the usual teen angst, but put into the layer that he could have questions about who his father is. And that could make it more interesting if they don't go into that overly melodramatic. So, they're getting into it. They finally figured out kind of where he's at. But it's in a hospital, so they've got civilians, so they can't do the airstrike that they had planned. By the way, when they were talking about doing the airstrike to begin with, it's like, it's kind of close to village. They're like, no, we only aim where we hit. And I'm like, that's pretty close to a place, and it actually would be better for you to do a different kind of tactical strike, Admiral, because you could aim to good precision, but the way it was showing on that diagram of the satellite image, the village was still pretty close that it would probably get at least some kind of damage from the airstrike that they were planning. So as they had moved it to a hospital, an airstrike was not possible, so they were going to have to send in SEAL Team 6 in order to capture the head of Al-Sakar. That was their objective. Limit casualties as much as possible by essentially using human tactical ordnance. And that what is like, you send in the people because they are smart enough to know what they need to do in order to get out of there, cause least damage possible, lightning strike in, lightning strike out. That's what SEAL Team 6 does. That's what they're known for, and it's like, alright, here's the best of the best. Kirkman also, in a pretty cool show, went to talk to them about, like, the mission, what they thought their chances were. It's like, the commander was like, we got a 50-50 shot. We've trained for this kind of operation all the time. This is what we do. Let us do our job, sir. And it was cool to kind of see him worried about this because he was sending people into harm's way. And it was kind of cool to show that he was talking to soldiers, kind of get to know them a little bit, even though they were kind of just used more for his benefit than to actually kind of flush him out. So they pretty much get everything set and ready to go. They kind of send everybody in, and then of course one of the choppers goes down, and one of the SEALs is injured. So that has the mission kind of changes a little bit. But Kirkman had also said that before the mission went, if you cannot capture him, kill him. So it's like, dead or alive, you're coming. We're gonna get this objective done. So since one person was injured, that kind of facilitated that things needed to change up a little bit. So they go in, they're able to get through the hospital, they find the head of Al-Sakar, and they're pretty much in a standoff because they have children hostages, but it seemed kind of different. Because, granted, when you see kind of, it's still the usual thing to use children as hostages to make sure that you can get a kind of better way out of this. But the way that the head dude of Al-Sakar was kind of holding himself, it seemed like he was going to try to talk to them first, more than anything, which then, of course, helps with the theory that this wasn't a terrorist attack, that this was some kind of orchestrated attack by someone who knows what they're doing inside the government. So, unfortunately, though, things started going crazy and that they lost contact with the SEAL team, but they regained contact. They were successful in capturing the head of Al-Sakar, but their commander was killed in the line of duty because he used his body to shield the children to make sure that they weren't harmed. Now, of course, this, of course, weighs on Tom, and he, of course, had to talk with Congress as they were doing this, notifying them that they were doing this strike. And he'd gotten support from McLeish, but Hookstratton was like, well, this could either make you Reagan or Carter. And of course, since this went well, this would make him more like Reagan, because it went through well. They captured the enemy that they were supposed to capture, and now they can get better intel. So I'm looking into this to see, this will be kind of cool to see what's going to happen between getting the information from the head of Al-Sakar and finding out that it's not really his organization up behind it. Because as this is going on, we get Hannah digging into what was going on. Room 105 was like a secret kind of place for Congress people to kind of do their kind of work, kind of hide out when they needed like a break or whatnot. And she finds out that because of the plans, there were renovations that were done. She finds the renovations plans because she'd gotten them from Hookstratton because she needed congressional approval to get those. And once she got them, she figured out that it had been reinforced to pretty much be a bomb shelter. And she took that to her superior, and he relieved her, and he started getting freaked out. And that was, of course, linked back to McLeish, and showing that like all the contractors that had worked on it were dead due to accidents or natural causes. And then, of course, thickens the plot and everything, pretty much like, okay, this is not right. And, of course, as that's going on, McLeish was being brought up as a possible contender for Speaker of the House, because Tom needed someone who would be on his side. McLeish seemed like he would be on his side, and when he was brought up with that, he's like, no, I want to be a person that serves, not into the politics. And it's like, serves, okay. And then Tom's like, well, maybe we can find a better position for him, like a vice president. It's like, that's the key. McLeish is in on it, and vice president would be the best position possible to be put into. And then, of course, you assassinate Kirkman, and then you and your compatriots and conspirators can build the government up that you want. And, of course, he would think he would be serving his country and doing this, depending upon what the people were telling him. Because, and then you can see that there's more going on to this, and we don't know exactly who's all involved with this. And the thing is, it's a kind of small pool of people. The director of the FBI wasn't in on it. Most of the senior members of government weren't in on it. So we kind of don't know who's going to be doing this at this point. But we know that they want to have someone sympathetic to their cause, to be in control of the government, so that way they can put people in key positions. So that's the stuff that I'm excited to see for. And Hannah did a pretty good job of kind of getting into that, staying in on it, because her instincts have been serving her well with this. And it's interesting to see that this kind of thing, if everything's going pretty well for Kirkman, so they have to be careful in how they do this. They need him to be in a position where he is strong enough to be looked at as the president, yet weak enough to be seen that if he is taken out, this other person can step in for his shoes. McLeish. And things have been going well for him since he's captured the head of Al-Sakar. Michigan has calmed down since the lieutenant governor has been installed. It's really kind of interesting to see what's going to be happening with these kind of various arcs and what's going to be happening and how the cabal or whatnot will strike back at Kirkman. Because at the moment, they probably do not view him as a credible threat, which is to his advantage, but yet he knows nothing about that. So, those are my opinions of the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.